Now, if one person is outnumbered, right, and you're need to a ship, right, there ain't nothing you can do to convince people if they convince them first you're fucked in the head, right? But the reason I'm fucked in the head is they were doing something to me I can't recall. Not because I'm being what they want me to be, but because I'm not, right? I'm not doing it their way because I don't trust their way. Because on my first job, the guy got electrocuted himself. Right? So how would you feel if you're new to a ship and the first thing you see on the first job you're working with as an observer only, one of your coworkers electrocutes himself just because you look like the guy he normally works with, and then wouldn't even bother to lift a finger to train you, like you're omniscient with him or something, or have some kind of osmosis with him, and you know nothing about it, right? See, that's vanity too, right? Some people pretend they're telepathic. Well, that's a mental illness too, right? I don't do that, right? I don't know you, right? Like most people, I'm taught how to interact with people whether I know them or not, right? And I know if you approach someone, right? Because I'm watching some TV tonight, especially on 341, which is El Rey, right? Well, they were showing this one guy, right, in one of the little skits, right? And it's Henry Thomas. Y'all heard of him, right? Well, somehow he psychically connected with this female, and even I know saw her murder someone. And this dumbass stalked her and found her, right? Right. That's why I stay in Georgia. I put up my address because I don't leave. I don't leave. For a reason, you know. See, all the Hollywood types, they're acting weird, I know. They're hiding something, kind of seems like. They don't even really use possibly their real birth names, right? Well, I'm telling a story about my being in the Navy, which some people might not want you to know, right? So I'm trying to protect myself from what happened in there and my family in case it goes that crazy, right? Um, that's what you don't see I'm doing. I had a lot of issues pop up that I didn't know how to talk about it because it's suggestions, right? Right. And I wouldn't join in on it, what they were suggesting anyway. But I also got to play it cool around them until I figure out what's going on, right? Because again, I'm trying to think. What are they up to? In the first place, right? Now, I'm not saying, okay, I ain't read the Bible or anything, right? But generally, like all kids growing up, you're started out with, short stories, You might hear the story about Jesus feeding the multitude, right? With the fish and the loaves, right? And the little boy who brought his lunch and gave it to Jesus, and Jesus passed it out. And miraculously, they gathered 12 baskets the first time, and 7 the second time. Now, the thing is, do you think logically only the boy brought a lunch? No. But because of a perception of it, the disciples looked at it miraculously, right? Now, but what if it's simply other people brought food for their family and shared as Jesus gave the example to, and they gathered the 12 basketfuls of food that the other people brought for the sermon, in case it turned into a long sermon or something, right? Right. That doesn't make true logical sense, right? What is that called? The spirit of sharing, right? Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Now, when you share something, though, with someone, you want the full experience or not to do it at all, right? Right. Yeah, so, exactly, exactly. But again, so there's some weird things I was watching on TV, and of course, Saturday Night Live, the second um, episode of the season, right? So we're having the normal skits, and all that, and it's going pretty funny and off and on and kind of silly, right? Like always, right? But then they do this redneck trailer park, southern lesbian, right? Dyke. Excuse my French there. That's an old word for lesbian, right? Not maybe PC today, but it's what it needs to be called. One time. Right? Now, don't be offended now, ladies. I'm not saying you're dykes anymore, but that's what they used to call you, right? Right. Especially if you're from the South. Trust me, I know. And, you know, it's kind of silly because it's stereotypical behavior, right? And the thing about, like, Keenan, for example, he's doing the stereotypical African American role, right? And you know what I mean, right? And again, you know, the thing is, right? If you're an Uncle Tom, right? African American, right? Like with the Fresh Prince of Bel Air and all that, Will Smith and all that. You know, you're looked down upon if you're African American and you try to be white, or rich or well off, right? Things like that too, right? But a lot of people judge people falsely. hmm Now, Taylor Swift, of course, was the music guest tonight, right? And she did Lover and a song I didn't quite know, but it both sounded good. Now, she didn't use the drums, though, in Lover. She did kind of the piano and acapella, which I thought was a good performance. And Ian, right, then she sang at the end. A different song, I didn't really know that one, but it sounded pretty good, too. But it had I think it was a baritone sax. Maybe an alto. It was one of the bigger ones. But you got three kind of sax. You got a tenor sax, alto sax, and a baritone sax, right? One of them is huge. One of them is huge. Things like that. And again, she also used that and Check It Off and all that. But I forgot the name of the second song. I'm not sure I even know that name yet. But I like both performances, like I said. And I kind of critiqued Lover at first because the drum was too harsh for the song, and it didn't quite sound right with it, right? But I also heard a version later on where it kind of was toned down a little bit and sounded a little bit better, right? But what she did tonight sounded great. Reason is, it's kind of a love song, and the drum seemed apart from what was really focused on with the piano. And it kind of took away from it. It's like the Bette Midler song. The Rose, the Rose. See, you don't hear no drums in that song, right? That's because sometimes a song don't need any, right? And when she did the piano with the acapella, that sounded better. Acapella, that sounded better. But that's just, what I listen to, right? Growing up, right? It's not to say my opinion is better than yours or I'm got a doctorate or a PhD in music, right? Yeah. But again, right? I'm doing me, and you do you, whatever it is, and I do me, and now if you're with me, I'm pushing you away because I fell 3 stories, and you're not committing to me, and no one seemed to commit to me, and what? Because I might be a witness for God, right? Are you becoming anti-true God? See, a lot of people don't know what they're doing is wrong. And they don't know they're in a delusion. That's how well the delusion is, right? But I can't say, I'm not different either, right? Because again, even in the Bible, in Acts chapter 20, verses 8 through 10, a guy falls from a window ledge because he falls asleep while hearing Paul's sermon, right? And either the wind was knocked out of him or he died, right? I don't know. Well, he revived, right? Because Paul did some kind of, something similar to what Elijah did when the widow's son died too, right? Kind of did something over his body, and maybe he, the warmth of his body, whatever it was, right? He awoke. Now, I'm not telling people, oh, jump from a 2-story window either, right? Or a 3-story one, right? If you don't have to, right? But if you're in a bad situation, you can't help that sometimes, right? Like being locked out your room and you need somewhere to stay, right? Your priority, though, is to try to get into the room at all costs first and then make plans afterwards, right? So all I remember is the last part of the plan, which is to try to get into the window, making up a neat ER, however long that took. So like I'm telling you, why are you looking at me like you know whether I died or not in the fall? Hey, if I blacked out, you can't say what the fuck happened. No one can't. Unless, again, I went around to the front and you attacked me. Then you know something happened, right? To me. But only you know it because I got amnesia the whole thing, right? Like with the car wreck. Whatever happened there is starting to look mysterious because of the fall. And vice versa, right? Well, again, if you're in a car wreck, and you have to be going over 45 miles, because the speed limit is 35 anyway, and you can probably take the curve, probably even at 50, right? Now, if you wreck the car and 2 people are in the car, only one's injured, the suspicion raises a little bit because you never thought about it before. It's a car wreck. You just glad you're fucking survived. Right? You know what I mean? Right? You're not thinking anything grandiose yet either about it, right? Why not? Because, you have a few cuts on your hand, which still can show you that, right? Like I said, right? So, don't rub off the same scars, right? Right? Now, like I said, that I don't have a problem. See if Maribel or Daphne or Sheena or any of the 18 women I was with got pregnant by me or not. I don't know, right? All the details. But, like I'm telling the person, right? If Rose or any of the women got pregnant and called me like Maribel did, I would be interested in them and find out what happened. If they told me the same thing Maribel did, then I would do the same thing with them and try and find out if the child's fine or not. Is that wrong? I mean, come on, right? But someone is trying to change my personality, like I'm like them, and I'm not, right? Now, who am I saying I was around who would interfere with me and Sheena trying to drive me crazy? King and Ben, right? And I'm supposed to work under. I was under Ben first, as the man on totem pole under him, right? As he was above me, right? As the other guy was above Ben, and then of course, Locklear or Lockheed, whatever his name was the second class petty officer in charge of us, right? And the same with Hart, right? Hart and King, and then Robinson were in the rewind shop. We had a guy from Laos in some area, right, off the beaten path, right? Then we had the yeoman, and then we had a battery guy, and he was a third class petty officer too, right? And Lee kind of, I don't know what all he was doing, but he went from E3 to E4 too, right? When I got to the ship too. Now King's friend was leaving and going to another ship, right? The one who might have got him electrocuted by me. But not me, even though where the fuck he was behind the bus to even mess with anything, right? You know what I mean, right? But now Lieutenant Guzman was also down there, and I've been zapped a little bit by 120 or even by a cow fence, right? But it didn't black me out. Well, if it blacked King out, and you don't think 450 volts, and this is also the major amp system, amperage, right? Supposed to contain about 10,000 amps, and that's the amps that kill you, King. Now, the only one King can't blame is himself and his ring. So who you think he's on to blame? The new kid in town? Like I even know what I'm doing either? And again, who has been on the ship? Who knows the equipment better? Me or him? Him. Who's supposed to know, okay, and recognize I'm not his friend? Even if we look similar. With brown hair and brown eyes, right? Right. But if I can't prove that to you, you're acting like King and Ben did towards me. And if they wrote you nasty letters in my name, and they used a typewriter, why do you think they would do that? Because it don't prove who typed the letter. Unless they put fingerprints all over it, and then you would have to have the original letter sent to Sheena, right? Yet, like I asked you, why would I sabotage my relationship when in my letters, which are handwritten, and maybe not the best penmanship, Sheena, maybe she couldn't even read what I wrote, and wanted me to go to typing, and when Ben and King got the yeoman to type up the letters for them, she was able to read what they said, but not what I said, right? Maybe. But I still am not a good typist, you know. Because I have a bad right eye. The reason I have the lazy eye is it's peripheral, 20. Straight ahead, 200. Now that makes me technically legally blind, but my vision is still present, right? It's just blurry. I'm not like the blind guy whose eyes turn white or pupils turn white either. Well, that might be a movie I'm not sure, right? I know. But like one of the guys in Kung Fu with David Carradine, one of the monks had white eyes, right? And he was the blind monk or something, right? Now, like I said, I don't know if that's a prop or something, but or he wore contacts or something, right? But or he was really born that way, right? But his pigment in his eyes were white instead of brown or green or blue or whatever, right? Which is the normal eye shade. But only albinos, though, have white. But where they come from? Black people. It's a recessive gene. And it takes two to pair. Now, two recessive genes, okay, compare under a dominant. Why do you think Archie kind of looks like skin, right? Because Megan's dad and mom and DNA structure went to her. And Harry's is, again, he's kind of ruddery, like King David, right? Or reddish. That, again, explains why Archie's a little lighter than Meghan and Harry, but darker than Harry, but lighter than Meghan, right? Now, people, though, are dumb shits. Let's tell it like it is. Their mind starts racing. Oh, I bet Megan cheated on Harry with some other guy. Kid's too white. They got a replacement, baby. Oh, they go there. Now, I'm really judging. I'm not serious, right? I know it's our baby. I know it's our baby. But some people, like I said, have a warped mind. And it's hard for them to admit it, right? Now, like I'm telling Maribel and Cheetah and Daphne, which those were the 3 weirdest relationships I ever had. The rest of them, we kind of did it, never saw them again. Right. Not those 3. Not those 3. And it started with Sheena. Then went to Daphne, then went to Maribel. Now, that's why none of you, alright, I was with, can say I tricked you. That you were behaving right towards me, or I wouldn't have read you the letters. If you don't behave yourself, I'm going to break up with you and move on and cheat on you or whatever, right? I got to do to get away from you, right? Because you're not acting any better than my exes. And if I wanted them, right, and didn't want you, I wouldn't even have been with you the number of times I was with you. But now the thing is, some people want to pretend, okay, they're reading your mind, or you have the same thoughts when you don't. As well. For instance, if Maribel holds fidelity above how she's treating me, yet I hold how you're treating me above fidelity, she's going to make me break up with her, and I'm going to give up on the relationship, right? Because, see, I know people, okay, who love each other, want to be around each other, right? And I'm thinking, well, why don't she want to be around me, and why is she hanging out with her ex-boyfriend, right? I don't care if she's fucking him, right? Or not, right? I would prefer her to be around me like him and not fuck me than fuck me and be around him more. You see what I mean? Right. Even with Amanda, right? Who moved in with me by that. I'm not trying to fuck her, but she brought in another guy, so I ignore her, right? Because, again, you brought another guy to my house, right? And you were the one I offered to stay with me, but you're acting like I'm going to rape you or something. Which is called transfer from her past, right? And that's in her mind, right? Not mine, right? I'm trying to help her out like I did her Aunt Teresa, right? Now, of course, is she better looking than her Aunt Teresa? By a mile. That's not the problem. But I only treat her like her Aunt Teresa, right? Now, unless, like I told you, right, women are actually having sex with me and someone's knocking me out afterwards, which is made up, right? You understand? That's a fantasy, right? People don't normally do that, right? If they do, there's 2 problems. You won't remember it, no matter how good it was for them or you. And you can't even pretend it happened if you don't remember it either. Now, the difference between being attracted to someone is, again, brief. The difference between being in a relationship with someone is step by step. Now, like I told you before, how I learned today. It's like the song. You know the one I mean, the nursery rhyme? What does it say? Shane and somebody's kissing in the tree. Kissing. First comes love, then comes marriage, then comes shame with the baby carriage, right? Right. Okay. That tells me there are steps to it, right? Now, the first step me and Mary Bell did, or me and Daphne did, or me and Sheena did, was we met. Sheena had a friend with her. Daphne was being seen by urology because of a brain tumor, right? And again, Mary Bell was working at Burger King. But whoever I met and was with, these are just 3 examples, right? Of how I dated them. I know. Now, is it them 3? I don't know. Because, like I said, I don't know. Rose didn't get pregnant by me either because we were together in March, right? In the slap dead middle of the month, right? But like with Mary Bell, Rose, okay, knows my address, right? She knows what ship I'm on, the USS Saipan. And Rose never called me and told me she got pregnant or not, right? So me and Rose amicably split up. Me and Sheena didn't, because the only ones who could interfere with it in my mind was King or Ben, right? Not me. Right, yeah. But there again, what am I going to say to Cat and Carrie or Dr. Asner or Lieutenant Oates? When I start hearing voices because of the stress and it just says Jerusalem, Jerusalem, Jerusalem 3 times, right? And mysteriously, when you think about this, our ship goes to fucking Israel for 2 fucking weeks for some fucking reason, right? Excuse my French. That ain't strange. That's a strange way to tell me you love me, when your sorrow is all I can see. If you just wanna cry up some money, don't cry to me. No, don't cry to me. Don't cry to me. Yeah. Now what that means is, right, okay, when you're in love with someone, right, and yet you're not committed to them and they don't know why, they're going to see you as being mixed, right? That's called sending mixed messages. Now, am I doing this for me, Mary Bell, or other people? All the above, right? Why? I'm telling Mary Bell how I feel about all that. If Mary Bell don't listen to me, she don't listen to me as well. But she can't take advice from others about me or form her own independent opinion of me, because she still is delusionally thinking towards me. Fucking me don't mean she knows me. She's just fucking me. What's the difference? Commitment. See, I'm trying to commit to a relationship with her and telling her what I went through, including the dream, like with Sheena, Daphne, as well. But like I said, my perception of the dream, if that was the problem with Sheena or whatever, right, I don't know, was not to boast that I'm Jesus, Sheena, right, but that, like Jesus, I saw the throne of God in heaven, except it was in a dream, which doesn't mean I am Jesus. But I'm worthy to be as the Master. Not greater than or less than either. Well, that's what John's explaining is the problem. Only Jesus is worthy to look upon and tell people the 7 seals. Because men, above the earth, in the earth, and below the earth, won't do it. But it's funny that John says Satan took a third of the angels from heaven. And they're cast to the earth. They're also cast into the bottomless pit. Too. Because again, these are sexually motivated allegories of the human anatomy. Even the temple, if you look at its real design, the Holy of Holies is the womb. The holy place is the vaginal canal. The court, the legs. The sacrifice is in front of the altar, which is in front of the Holy of Holies and the holy place. Right? What does that represent? Right? Well, the sacrifice of the animals on the altar, right, is to represent your child being born in sin and the blood of the animals covering that sin, right? From the womb of the woman into the vagina and out she comes, or he comes, right? That's the point. But Mary Bell don't know me. I'm writing her, telling her what all I've been through, whether she understands it or not. I'm trying to be, kosher, PC, tell her what I've been through, I don't know what to say to her either, but I'm doing her differently than Sheena, but I'm also warning her, look, if you don't stop this crazy behavior, I've been through this with my ex-girlfriends, you're not treating me any better. I don't know what the hell's going on with you, Bart, Steven, and Miles, and your family, and I don't even know if she's reading all that. I don't even know if she's getting half of it right. But I'm trying to explain something to her if I'm writing her out, right? And her family too, right? Now, some of the letters have to do with what? Things I've been exposed to growing up that I might not have talked to Sheena about or Daphne about yet either. Now, the thing is, even though I'm in a, 4-month marriage, technically with Daphne, me and Daphne lived together and we got along okay until I went to Bethesda, came back, and then she wanted to go to Arkansas to get her daughter, and that's when we ran into some problems, right? Because, see, she didn't tell me until I got back from Bethesda that she even wanted to go to Arkansas, so when we went to Arkansas, I was as prepared for it as she was, right? That's why I'm driving through the mountains fast, because I gotta be back by Monday, Daphne. Hello? I'm not thinking, okay, like you got 2 weeks. I don't even know what the fuck that would even have to do with me. Right. That's called miscommunication on her part to me, what was really going on in her understanding of things. And then she's getting mad with me like I know what's going on when I don't, right? Because, see, I got to be back on Monday because I didn't get 2 weeks vacation. I didn't even put in for it, right? Well, see, you got to put in for that, Daphne. And I was in Bethesda for 2 weeks, so that was on the ward. So that's not a vacation for me, right? I know. And that's the second time I went to the ward because I couldn't speak or articulate because I couldn't, my mouth started moving like speaking in tongues, right? Or what they call chattering, right? Chattering teeth, right? I became so nervous, I guess, I couldn't speak. For my hearing, right? And that's why I got the bipolar diagnosis after the schizophrenia, which was after the delusionary disorder, grandiose type, having to do with a religious person thinking they're a prophet of someone of a prophet status, right? But there again, I also tell them the dream first, right? Is why I think I'm a prophet based on the Bible itself and what I've read about it, right? And the 2 witnesses also fit, right? Because they said, for the God of the earth and the God of heaven and earth, or just the earth, or just heaven or both. Right. He might be the God of all three. If you know what I mean, Christians. Now, but if Peter, right, the main architect of the New Testament, the leader of the group of the men, that went from 500 during the 40 days to 120 at Pentecost. Paul said it, Peter. I don't know, he's not alive, because Jesus said there'd be some sitting here that shall not taste of death till all sin. Well, they were in the crowd. Mm-hmm. And like the Highlander, mm-hmm, they don't want you to know they've been around for 2,000 years. If they've been around for 2,000 years. And I ain't telling you this because you would believe me. Okay? But you're still in the wrong image of God. Mm-hmm. They're telling you about one of the three and they're misdirecting you, especially the Orthodox Jews and Christians, right? Because see, both Orthodox Jews and Christians look at the male as the sole image of God, and it's not, right? The reason it's not is the male body, like the female body, and like the hermaphrodite body, is androgynous too, internally, right? You get an X from your mom and a Y from your dad. Mm-hmm. The female has an X from her mom and an X from her dad, right? Two become one flesh, according to Moses. The seed joins with the egg in the womb of the woman, or the fallopian tubes, right? And goes to the womb, and blah, 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 blah. How come the name up there, right? And that's what I mean to Gina, Daphne, and Mary about. Mm-hmm. The three women who called me or informed me about having a child around the time started acting weird or whatever, right? And I don't know what's going on, right? Now, I'm in what I thought was a normal, good relationship, right? I'm not trying to sabotage it. I'm telling them about my life in Georgia. I'm not even going there about the shit names yet, either. Now I'm just telling you everything that I couldn't even tell you about Christian Fellowship Church. The reason is, right? Mm-hmm. Say Pastor Brand tells me, right, that it's okay for me and a brother to jerk off together if I want to be in it. Well, A, that's a private conversation between me and him, right? And yes, we had it, alright, but if I, like, when Pastor Davis hugged me and put his arm between my butt cheeks, there's certain things you can take to court. Mm-hmm. But you have to prove it happened. And if you can't prove something happened, it's my word against your word. Now, that's why the diagnosis of paranoid schizophrenia is so important to this person as well. They're trying, okay, anyway, to make me look crazy. But, voices alone, if you can behave yourself like the devil on one side and the angel on the other, it don't matter which side they're on, right? Could be left, right, right, left, right. Okay, that's all they made me kind of start hearing. Is voices more of a religious content because it said Jerusalem, 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 right? Now, I might have, and I'm not sure of this, and I'm not saying 100% is true. And even Jan Brady on the Brady Bunch thought she heard voices briefly because she was the middle child. Well, I started out as the firstborn, but became the middle child because of my stepbrothers, Little Roddy and Mark. Right. So whatever's going on there, right, after the dream too, right, after my dad was murdered and shot in the face with a gun, right, that's not unusual for a child in such a trauma, getting baptized, getting into the church, even if it's in the name of the Father, Son, and Holy Ghost, Pastor Thomas and Pastor Payne and Pastor Mantis. Because his word is above his name. But, there's three names too, individually. See, there's the name of the Father, the name of the Son, and the name of the Holy Ghost. And there might be 5 ways at least to pronounce the divine name. The simplest and most obvious would be Yahweh, taken from Eve's name, and Yah, or Hayah, Anyway, the second one I take from Eliyahu and make it Yahuwah, like Sar and Sarah. But that's the name of the son, not the father. The father is Yahweh. Then you could do Yaheva or Hova or Hava. Hava means the life. Hava means behold life, and Hova means glorious life. Yehovah is, I don't know what the Yah means, but Ho is glorious and Va is life. So there's 5 ways to say the divine name. Now, if you do it forwards and backwards, there's other ways you can pronounce it as well. Who, he, right? H, all right, YHHW is what? I'm sorry, yep. YHHW is, I think, right? Oh, I'm sorry, it's YHWH, right? Well, who, HW, he, HY. Yahi, Asher, Yahi, right? Was Asher and was Asher, right? I mean, you can also say Yahi or the Yahi or, which or is light. So again, I'm learning something. Other men who are supposed to be messengers from heaven, and the woman is the earth, right? Okay. And like I'm asking Mary Bell about dreams, right? Are you dreaming about me? Are you having dreams? Or you want to be with me? Right. Do you have the same dream I did? Do you think you're one of the 2 witnesses with me? And I'm saying all this in letters to her because I'm trying to explain something to her I'm going through at the time, learning about the Gnostic Gospels, learning about the 7 seals, and they're not seals like in the 7th sign with anymore. It's the scriptures in the Bible that say something people don't want to understand or really comprehend what they're saying, whether they're learned or not, in the ways of the Torah. Now, if Yahoo is the same as Sar, then Sarah can also be Yahuwah. But the thing is, that makes the divine name what? Feminine in the Hebrew. Now, the name Moshe, which M-S-H-H is how Moses' name is said in the Hebrew. Now, M-O-S-E-S is from the Greek, not the Hebrew. In the Hebrew, they have an H sounding letter. It's called Hey in the Hebrew. But Hey can also mean behold in the Hebrew. And it can also be the Ha or Ho, which could mean glorious, but it's really Hod with a D. But in the divine name, you don't have a D, but you can still use the Ho. And Hosea married a Ho. Because God is using that prophet to represent the relationship between us and Satan and Israel. Now, Satan, tricked Adam and Eve into sex in Eden, and it's the tree. The other trees envied in Eden, the garden of God, according to Ezekiel 31. But guess what? That's a seal. The reason it's a seal, is no one in the church told me that Ezekiel 31 has anything to do with the sin in Eden. I had to read it on my own and said, wait a minute now. This is talking about the Pharaoh and the Assyrian being compared to a certain tree in Eden, right? And that the other trees in the garden envied him. Well, envy is a human emotion. Now, the Christians act like Satan's influence over Adam and Eve was simply through the serpent, and it was a literal serpent that had eggs or something. Well, they're kind of right if it was an upright human being with two legs like Adam and Eve anyway. But if a hermaphrodite, right, and this is the tricky part, and it had a child with Adam, but also impregnated Eve, or there wouldn't be the hermaphrodite gene anyway, right? For the hermaphroditic gene to exist, there must be a hermaphrodite in the gene pool very early on in human evolution. A true one, or it wouldn't be found in the gene pool at all. Now, yes, it's the rarest of the genes. Wonder why? Well, what is a hermaphrodite? But the male and female made from one into two anyway. But okay, you're not worthy to understand that, they say. We're not even going to tell you about it, because, like the pastor in Garden City, you're not worthy to understand what is even meant that. Your pastors are judging you. Like Peter, I guess. Though he still had the Old Testament, like I said. So did the Gnostics, so did the Orthodox. But with Constantine, okay, he judged in place of Jesus and Peter, right? There again, too. Now, like I'm telling you, some of these are myths, some of these are theories, some of these are truths, and some of these I'm not sure even happened, right? Because, see, there's a lot of reasons for 500 people to be dwindled down to 120 as well. And among them is persecution from Rome, if anyone even claimed Jesus raised from the dead until Pentecost, right? Like I said, right? Now, if you have people, okay, on one side telling Pilate that Jesus claimed that he was raised from the dead before he died anyway, right? And then the Christians start doing that, Pilate's going to want to stamp out anyone claiming Jesus rose from the dead as well. That would also explain why it went from 500 to 120, and that's what John means about tribulation, right? Of someone resurrected from the dead anyway. People who die don't know how to acknowledge resurrection. No, they don't. Even if the person died in their presence and was trying to explain different things to them in the process, if they were trying to kill him or something. Does that mean I did die, didn't die, or you can't say? Now, of course, I would also tell them, though, what? Always, right? What does that mean? There's many possibilities, at least two, if I'm attacked, that could happen that could make someone think I'm dead, whether I'm dead or not, or I could really be dead and Jesus would raise me from the dead, right? Both could happen, right? But again, if you don't believe in the resurrection of the dead, right, even if I did die, you wouldn't want to believe you destroyed away. And see, all I can tell you is I got blacked out amnesia, so I don't know any more about it either. Except I'm guessing what I would tell them if it happened on base or with Pastor Thomas, right? Okay, bye for now.